Coming up, we're going to talk about the latest updates with Disney's closure due to coronavirus, and we're also going to talk about ways that you can bring Disney to you when you can't go to Disney. All that coming up next. From points around Orlando, this is the coronavirus edition of the Diz Unplugged. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. Let the experts at Dreams Unlimited Travel help you plan your next Disney vacation. Dreams agents are committed to giving you honest and unbiased advice and helping you plan a magical vacation your family will remember for years. Visit us on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And by Magic Candle Company. Magic Candle is the leader in theme park-inspired candles, wax melts, fragrance oils, and much more. Bring a little bit of the magic into your home with Magic Candles. Use code DisneyInfo at checkout and receive 15% off your order every time. That's MagicCandleCompany.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 1070 of the Diz Unplugged for the week of March 17th, 2020. Coming to you from my home, or my office. You're always in my home. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined in the chat this week by my good friends Julie Martin.
Hi, everybody.
Rhino Clavin.
Hello, everyone.
Denny Sunderly.
Hi there.
And trying not to have a nervous breakdown right now, our producer, Craig Williams.
Oh, trust me, I am. And I just realized I left your picture-in-picture up for that entire intro, so you were just sitting in the bottom corner.
Good.
So there we go. First thing out of the gate. Already screwed
That's
up.
All right. Well, obviously we are doing our show differently as a result of the recommended social distancing. I didn't think it was a good idea to bring everybody into the studio at this point. So for the time being, who I don't know whose phone that was, Denny.
No,
it was Denny.
Not. That
I can
rude.
Okay, there's a mute thing on the side of your phone.
It's already muted. I don't know where that came from.
For the time being, this is how we're going to be doing our shows. I know it's not ideal, and it's certainly not the production values that we go for when we're in the studio, but this is just kind of the new normal for now. Looking forward to getting back in the studio, but we're also going to take advantage of this situation and maybe do some more things like we did last night. We kind of did an impromptu test last night that was supposed to go for about 20 minutes, and it went for 2 hours, and we had a really good time. So I really enjoyed that. And what I do want to say is that we're going to do a coronavirus update in a little bit. This is the last time that coronavirus is going to be mentioned during our regular shows. This is not to ignore it. I will be doing separate videos throughout the week with updates that you can find that information. We've also put 2 dedicated pages on the Diz dealing with all those updates as well. But I don't want all of our shows to be all coronavirus all the time. So I've kind of made the decision that we'll do those updates separately, but our shows moving forward are going to be about the things we need to talk about, we want to talk about. I think that we're all getting overwhelmed with every time we get into social media or turn on a television. It's all we're hearing, and it's important information, and I'm not suggesting we stick our head in the sand, but I think that these shows are a source of escape. That's why we don't talk about politics and we don't talk about other things, because that's not what these shows are for. So right now we're kind of adjusting to this situation, but I want our shows to go back to that and address the other issues kind of separately. So that's what we're going to be doing moving forward. So let's just talk about some of the updates right now, which has happened recently. All Disney-owned locations at Disney Springs have been closed through the end of the month. Disney Cruise Line has canceled all sailings through April 12th. Adventures by Disney has canceled all departures for the month of April. And I just want to say, I don't know if any of you disagree with me, but I have a feeling this is not, I think there are some people that are thinking that because Disney is closed through March 31st, that April 1st, everything goes back to normal. And I don't think that's what's going to happen. Denny, what do you, or Julie?
Yeah, I do agree with you. I foresee even our schools being closed longer. Right now, we're closed through the 30th, I believe, for Seminole County. I know in Louisiana, they're closed through the 13th of April, just because I have friends there. But schools are a place where this virus can breed so easily. I mean, this flu season has been horrible for our kids at school. With any sort of cold or sickness, respiratory illness has been terrible. So unless they're doing like a deep cleaning of our schools right now, I don't foresee them letting us go back until maybe even a little bit later. So I agree that Disney will take it possibly week by week like schools would do, or I would hope, because even more germs are spread there,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come and go in waves because you have people who are coming down with it now who have to get through the whole quarantine period. And like you said, I think it may be a week to week kind of, they have to gauge it depending on what's happening, but the lights aren't going to flick on April 1st and everything is magically back in place.
I believe that we're probably not going to see anything close to normalcy before the end of May, and possibly longer. But I don't, if we take a look at what happened in Shanghai, they closed the end of January. They are just beginning now to open like their downtown Disney area.
Yes.
I'm kind of using that as my gauge. When they open Shanghai Disneyland back up, then we'll know that kind of what we're looking at. And that's provided that we can control the spread of this as well as the Chinese did.
Right.
Then again, very different culture. But, we're trying to do our part by doing things like this, by minimizing our contact. More and more cities in the country are going into lockdown. And this is trying to slow the spread of this so that our first responders and our medical facilities are not so overwhelmed by it.
The sooner people go to just accept what's happening and start this process of being like, my mind was blown this weekend when you see people on out in, like, all this stuff started happening. They announced the closures, and then I see people on Sunday still at crowded restaurants and brunch thinking they're doing their part, and I'm like, you are insane. What are you thinking? And then that scene at Magic Kingdom on Sunday night, I read an article that there was a festival that happened in the beginning of the beginning of this month in March in Miami. Yeah. And one person was diagnosed there, and now that 5,500 people who have since dispersed and gone back to wherever they do can carry it home. Okay, how many people do you think were in the Magic Kingdom on Sunday night? 40,000, 50,000? And they crowded. That's the insane part. Just so you could see Mickey Mouse again, we're going to be locked in our house for an extra 2 months now. It makes me furious, and I'm sorry to be that person, but just if we can all come together,
Birthday parties. I saw birthday parties happening this weekend with multiple families. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, people that I know that have children who may even have asthma or some sort of a respiratory illness that could cause them a true problem. Like, I don't get it. Our Ferris would be the most likely to have a really hard time with this particular virus. He's had pneumonia before multiple times.
Right.
So it scares the crap out of me, Rhino. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, and this is the issue I have with my mom, who's 89.
Mm-hmm.
She's an asthmatic. Mm-hmm. And, I was talking to her this morning, and she's like, "Oh, I'm, going to the doctor for my checkup." I'm like, No, you're not. You're not doing that. You don't need, if you're not sick right now, it's going to be fine. I'm like, okay, but what if somebody in there is sick?
Right.
What if somebody in there is sick? Why risk it? Why risk it?
I don't think people comprehend that it's so my stepfather is a nurse in Boston, which is now about to be locked down. If it hasn't already today, I don't know. But, I don't think people understand that if you were, let's say Pete had it and Pete was in a room and then Pete leaves this room and I come into that room 30 minutes later, I can still get it because that thing can be around for 3 hours after somebody is gone.
On surfaces. It's not airborne, from what I understand.
Well, exactly.
It's on surfaces, but that's where the danger is.
And I read that it lives for 9 hours on a plastic surface. So not even it's just 3 hours on a regular surface on aluminum or what, or maybe. But I don't think that people are digesting this information or they're living in some sort of emotional denial. But it's like what you said, Julie. You may think I'm superior and I can get through this, but I have read about 21-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 29-year-olds. All these people are getting sick, and I think that was a big mistake to say that they're less susceptible.
Well, it's what they're saying is that younger, healthy people are in that 80% that just come down with mild symptoms. And that's great. I'm really glad that 80% of the people who get this are exhibiting mild symptoms and are not becoming deathly ill. The problem is you can communicate this before you show symptoms, and it's about other people that you may give this to that aren't in your age group, that do have underlying health issues, that it's going to kill. So, we're kind of a selfish society. It's like about us. And this is really requiring everybody to say, okay, yeah, we got to take care of ourselves, but how do I be responsible to my fellow person? So it's not just about keeping yourself safe. In keeping yourself safe. Like right now, do I enjoy being cooped up in my house? Not particularly, but you know what? I got plenty here to keep me busy. And I work from home. It's easier for me. I'll admit that. It's easier for us because we can work from home. And I feel for people that can't, that's not an option. And it's either go to work and risk that or not get paid. And so, I'm not judging those people at all.
No.
I'm saying if you have the opportunity, if your situation allows for you to be at home or work from home, that's what absolutely you should be doing.
Well, and I do want to say a special, I think we should make it very important. I know we talk a lot about people in the healthcare industry. They put their lives at risk every day. But also there's the grocery stores that are still open. If you're out there and you work in a grocery store, I mean, I know specifically somebody in my grocery store listens to the show. And,
That's funny. Me too.
Yeah, it's right. It's crazy how small world it is. But I think about her, and I think about her mother works there too, and how they're probably still going to work. And right now you're the people that are keeping the society moving and running. So you deserve hazard pay or something as well. So doesn't every person that's forced to keep going. But
I will.
Go ahead, Craig.
Sorry, I was just going to say I had to break self-quarantine because I really had to run to the grocery store this morning, and I will say, though, everyone out at my grocery store, everyone was like super, super kind to one another, keeping a distance, making sure that we are all respecting each other's space. What I did with the cashier, obviously she had to ring the items because it wasn't a grocery store where I could do self-checkout. But at the same time, I helped bag everything. So that way she at least got to touch less stuff. So, it's if you do go out there, just try whatever you can to make it as least inconvenient for everyone else around you.
Okay. Well, another thing that you could do would be to use Instacart, because I know here in our area it's still being used. So that way, the only people in the grocery stores are the people that work for this app for Publix. And I think that keeping people with their jobs, this would be very helpful. It minimizes your contact with others. And then and all in all, just being a good human. I saw my garbage man come through today, and I make a point to wave at them all the time. But today, like, I felt like I should have gone out in my yard and been like, "Yay, guys, way to go! Thanks for coming to pick up our trash." I mean,
That's great.
Okay, what I would like, if anybody has another point they want to make, I'll give you the opportunity to do it now. But then I'm going to wrap this discussion up because, like I said, we want to talk about what's important right now, but I do not want half or 3/4 of the show to be about this. I want to get back to doing what we do. So does anybody else have anything they want to add on this issue? No.
I think I just want to say, I know there's a lot of people can get heated and angry, and this can be stressful times. But I think, like Craig said it well about people in his grocery stores, like, just step back and remember we're all here. I hate to keep saying this stupid High School Musical. We're all in this together, but this is a great time to just check in, if from a distance, yell to a neighbor, see if they're okay, something like that, and be kind to everybody around you,
And that's where that's a great segue into where I want to pivot the rest of the show. We as a community, and I'm talking about Disney fans, one of the things we can do to get through this together is to kind of focus on the things that we love. And that's why I wanted the topic today to be about, and I do have a couple of housekeeping things I'll talk about in a second, but I wanted the main topic today to be about how do we bring that in to our homes? How do we bring that into our lives when we can't go to the parks? And I can't think of a community more adept at doing that than this community. Because what do we do when we're not in Walt Disney World or on a cruise or in Disneyland? We're planning. We're planning our next trip. So we're always thinking about it and we're always focusing on it. And so I wanted that to kind of be the discussion today about ways that you can bring that to you, and we will. I do want a couple of things in housekeeping. Obviously, this the site, the shows, everything we do is really supported by the revenue we generate with Dreams Unlimited Travel. So I want to encourage you, if you are a Dreams client, to kind of hold off on canceling things for the fall. We don't know what the fall is going to look like. We don't know what May is going to look like. Disney has already guaranteed that nobody's going to lose any money by canceling. They're giving people, cancellation options up to a day before arrival in some cases. So let's not let the panic extend to that. So if you've got a trip planned for later, don't worry about it yet. Just hold off. Hold off. See what happens. Obviously, it's a very fluid situation. But by the same token, we could also use your support to start planning your trips for later this year. We could definitely use support in the summer and the fall. A lot of cancellations in the summer and the fall right now, which that's why I'm saying, please just hold off. You're not going to lose anything. Wait until you absolutely have to make that decision before you pull the trigger. But one of the things I will say about ways to kind of bring that magic home is to plan your next trip. Disney World will open again. Disney Cruise Line will sail again. This crisis with coronavirus will at some point be done. We don't know when. We don't have an answer to that. But this too shall pass. And let's plan for that. Let's plan what we're going to do for that. So that's one way you can definitely support us that I would appreciate. Patreon is another great way to show your support. And Rhino, why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually. So if you are, so like Pete said, Patreon is a great place to go there. We do a lot of kind of random content for that maybe either doesn't have a place to live on the YouTube site, or it's behind the scenes stuff. It's about getting to know us better. It's a little more one-on-one and personal with some of the people. And, so if sometimes there's a topic that you feel like one of us didn't you want to talk to us individually more about it, that's a great way that you could do it, I think. Actually, that's one of the things I've been asking people to ask me questions about. But you can make a one-time donation through Patreon. You can do a monthly donation. It can be any amount from $1 to $100. There are tiers set up where if you sign up for different tiers, you will get benefits. If you are in the $5 and up tier, or if you're in the $5 tier, you get audio shows that I've been doing, Fiasco's been doing. And then you'll get access to like behind the scenes photos, stuff like that. If you're in the $10 and up tier, I refer to that as the Pete and the video tier. So you get Pete's solo show, and then that's also where you get all access to all those behind the scenes videos that we've done. And then the $25 and up was early access to shows, although I'm not sure how that's going to work in this downtime right now. So you can check out the site, patreon.com/disunplugged, and see all that content. But what's great, if you aren't a Patreon member yet, you also now have, how long have we been doing that? 2 years? More than 2 years at this point? I think
it's almost 3.
Yeah,
isn't it?
That you now have that back content to go through. So Pete's got, I think it's 18 or 19 solo shows on there now. There's behind the scenes videos we've done, all this kind of stuff. I released a 30-minute video about our a California trip we did in 2016. There's stuff on there to consume if you're getting antsy. So we're trying to help everybody the best way we can with that sort of a thing,
And okay, thank you for that, Rhino. Some other ways to support us is to support our sponsors. Help keep them afloat. Not the least of which is Magic Candle Company. I am burning Jungle Boat right now, which I didn't think I liked until I started burning it today, and I really do like it. I was mentioning last night in the live chat we did that normally I like the warm, Mickey waffles and the kind of warmer fragrances. Right now, I find myself wanting the lighter. I think because of everything that's going on, I want lighter, more upbeat fragrances. So I've been burning a lot of those. Very Vero is another one of my favorites. I think it's the same as Castaway Cruise. But head over to magiccandlecompany.com. If you use the code DisneyInfo at checkout, it's 15% off your order. They've got everything there. So, supporting our sponsors like that right now would be a huge help.
Huge.
For us right now. We really could use the support. Is there anything else I'm missing? Anything else you guys want to mention?
No? Not me.
No, Magic Candle Company was the big one.
Okay. All right. So let's move on and let's talk about how we bring the magic home, as opposed, if we can't go to Disney, how do we bring Disney to us? And I'm going to go to Miss Light and Happy and Unicorny, Miss Denny Sunderly. What about you? How does that work for you?
You're unicorning too, Julie.
Julie's definitely bright and unicorny, but Denny.
She has sun rays out of her face. I know.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Thanks. No, good gravy. I've got. It's just like anybody else. You've got Disney collectibles, the things that you love the very most, and I think just. We've got those all over our house. So I have little collections, pictures that I've taken over the years that are framed and in gallery fashion on a wall downstairs. I've got my huge Star Wars original trilogy posters up on the first floor. As soon as you walk in the house, there they are. So just seeing those little things around the house just brings a smile to my face. I've got Orange Bird within my eyesight right now across the room from me. So, and I think a lot of us do that. A lot of us have, I mean, Pete, just looking at your office and in the background of each of our shots, you can see the things that bring us joy. Especially
and for Julie, that's sneakers.
Shoes.
This is not my joy.
Her husband, AKA Imelda Marcos.
That's
with
pretty
the shoe
cool.
collection.
You should have put a set of dumbbells back there to represent me.
That would have been perfect. But Jackie put up a great article yesterday highlighting some of the recipes that are out there that she has seen and collected from like the Disney parks. Some people know this and a lot of people don't. If you ask for a recipe at, say, Ohana, if you want their bread pudding recipe, that's something that's requested all the time. You can request that of the chef. And a lot of times the chef has cards ready to go because it's a highly requested recipe. They'll give it to you right there. A lot of times they'll take your email address down and then they'll send it to you. So when you get back home from your Disney vacation, you've got the recipe of that thing that you loved the most. And that's, I'm getting ready I've got a little ratatouille cookbook for kids and I want to make the baguette this week. So I'm going to kind of document that, see how that goes.
It's funny. It's funny because I've got the recipe pulled for the Hoop-de-Doo cornbread. I'm going to make that. I'm going to make that either today or tomorrow.
Awesome.
For that same reason. I mean, I have a bunch of recipes. There's a recipe out there somewhere for the teriyaki sauce they use at Ohana, which it's amazing until you realize how much sugar is in that recipe. Would be, well, at this point it doesn't matter. I'm off my diet, so I might as well comfort eat while I can.
I think you made that for us once too, and you made like a vat of it.
Yeah, I did.
I remember it being in the refrigerator for a while.
Well, so it's our spring break this week. So we obviously aren't able to go anywhere, so we're having a homecation. A staycation I would consider like when we go outside of our house. Well, yesterday, I didn't think about this, but we love Fort Wilderness. So we actually went and I put the tent up in our patio. We have our chimenea out there. We lit a fire. We had chairs around. We made s'mores. I slept in a tent on my patio last night.
Awesome.
With both children, they made it through the night. No one got scared, including me. No loud noises, no bears. And we woke up to the sounds of birds. I mean, what could be better than that? It was wonderful. It was a beautiful night, like 65. So beautiful.
Wow.
One of the things that I didn't even think about this until a few minutes ago. I've been on my Switch. I've been playing Lion King and Aladdin.
Oh, nice.
Video games are video games are a great way. That's one of the things I used to do when I lived in Jersey. Video games were a great way to do that. And these are remastered for the Switch. And I forgot how much it was. It wasn't ridiculous though. But and there's so many. There's some great. I mean, obviously, you want to spend some time, get into Kingdom Hearts on the PlayStation. I didn't like the most recent version, but the one before that was amazing. And that's just this. It's great gameplay, and then there's all these Disney touches throughout it, which I think it's one of the best Disney inspired video games ever made. But for me, Aladdin will always be at the top of the list. What about you, Craig? What do you do?
Well, even though it's hard to kind of see in my shot, but I look very similar to Rhino in that you can clearly tell that I have a ton of Blu-rays sitting behind me, and that's the main thing I do. So I will just
burns Blu-rays.
I do. I burn them. No, listen. I don't need to get into another burning joke here on the Diz. And the first time it wasn't even a joke. So, anyways, yeah, I love watching Blu-rays, like just all kinds, but specifically Disney movies. So right now, all my Disney movies are getting blocked by that painting of Scrooge McDuck holding and kissing or smelling money that Rhino did for me.
He's kissing it. He's kissing it.
I don't know. It looks like he's smelling it, but
that's you. You're kissing it.
Okay. Well, it looks like he's smelling it, but yeah. So that's where pretty much most of my Disney movies are all housed, and then on the shelves. I don't know if anyone can actually see closely. I've been definitely trying to use a lot of my Disney glassware. So like on my other shoulder. That's all my Trader Sam's tiki mugs and beyond. So I just try to bring the stuff that I already have with me into it. I don't get into the recipes and such so much, and then I talked about on the live stream last night. I'm constantly playing music loops as much as possible, or park songs. So like when I'm up in my office, a lot of times if I need to relax, I'll start playing the music loop for Trader Sam's in the background, so that way I get very mellow. And if I'm really, really stressed, then I will put on the Christmas musical loop for the Jingle Cruise on the in the boathouse, so I can listen to Christmas music.
I love Jingle Cruise.
That's when I'm in a really bad when I'm in a bad mood. I need Christmas music more than anything. Oh yes, I do rock a little bit, slightly. So it's kind of
if I'm feeling frisky, I rock in my chair.
Okay, that's enough of that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do. So
right now, I'm really glad we have Disney Plus right now, because that's also a great way to just kind of get your fix, especially since they put so much content up there. I've been going back rewatching The Mandalorian because I think it's unbelievable. The Imagineering story, I don't know that there's a better documentary about Disney than that. And I'm so sad that it's not like an ongoing series of episodes. Because what was it, 6 episodes, 7 episodes of that?
6,
but what impressed me about that, if you haven't watched it, what impressed me about that is it was done with the blessing of the company, and it's very honest. It does not sugarcoat some things. It talks about mistakes. It talks about failures and things like that. And I was really surprised they allowed that. It was
wonderful. Just wonderful.
It's awesome. What else? What else do we have?
Frozen 2 released early is the best thing ever. I mean, maybe you guys don't feel that way, but I do.
I see. I know Sean loved it. I haven't seen it yet. Sean loved it. Rhino.
It's for the birds.
Nobody cares.
I love it.
But it made a whole lot of people happy this weekend when a whole lot of people needed to be made happy, that's for sure.
And if it makes you happy, I'm happy it makes you happy.
Perfect.
But I think you should delve into, especially for families at home, if your children have not been able to watch some of the older films like Pollyanna or Swiss Family Robinson, like really going back and showing them some of those original, the Apple Dumpling Gang, like so many great shows or films that you can watch. Make them watch them. They will enjoy them.
I mean, especially tonight, it's St. Patrick's Day today. So get on and watch Darby O'Gill and the Little People if you haven't seen it before. It's wild. So
is that on there?
It is on there, yes. So
Sean Connery's in that.
Yeah. A very young Sean Connery, yes.
I love Sean Connery.
No, anything with young Kurt Russell. Oh, please.
The computer can wear those tennis shoes, am I right? So if anybody wants something to do, there's a way back when I was trying to prove that I was worthy of working at this company. I did a video, an arts and crafts video. And it was the Zootopia paintings. So if you look up like arts and crafts and drinks, I think that's what you can search for it under. I did. It was like really basic art that anybody can do, and it was literally just involved you like making silhouettes of like Disney characters and like doing color schemes. But if you don't have supplies like the canvases and stuff like that, you can use. I know in Massachusetts, you guys have a ton of paper grocery bags because they don't let you use the plastic ones anymore. You can do it on one of those and like frame it later, or set it on fire because you hate it. Whatever you need to do.
Well, yeah, I was going to mention that because when Craig talked about that Scrooge McDuck painting that you did.
Yeah.
That's, and I wish Kathy was on the show right now because, she's crafty Kathy.
Yes.
And that's one of the ways especially when she lived in Pittsburgh, that was one of the ways she stayed in touch with Disney, was she did a lot of crafting. And she's really, really good at it.
A good idea. Okay, so we have an old fish tank. I mean, sometimes you get fish and they just don't live like you think they might. You could take that old fish tank and make your own Finding Nemo tank. You could make your own paper fish and tape them in there. That could be a fun thing to do for kids. And they won't die.
And they won't die.
Julie's talking about too. There's some fun tutorials you can look up on YouTube and make your own little movie. Everyone's got a phone. Everyone's got that sort of stuff. It could be fun to share that with the family. You can make little characters, put them on sticks, and make a little show and film it or something. And also I find what has been helping me is that every night before I go to bed, I'll make a list of what I want to do for the next day. And I really enjoy clicking things off on that list. So I'll say something as simple as I write okay, eat breakfast, walk the dogs, go for a run, live stream the Tuesday show, edit this video, watch Star Trek, blah, blah, blah. And that sort of thing. So
you're making your own mom summer chore list. I love it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. No joke. I'll be make bed.
Well, yeah.
My planner is my best friend. No, it's not. Now, another thing, just to put a shameless plug out there for all the hard work that the team has done over the years for the Disney Park Bench videos, those are huge. I mean, I remember I would just have them at my desk in Maryland when I wanted to be in the park so bad and just wasn't, obviously, because there were hundreds of miles. I would just have those playing even in the background just to hear the noise, the ambient noise from the parks, whatever. I would have those playing. And you can actually, on the playlist on YouTube, you can click play all, and it'll just cycle right from one to the next. And they're fantastic.
So what, I mentioned planning a trip is kind of a great way to, for us as fans to connect with that. I have a cruise coming up in May, the end of May. The one I was going to do next week, of course, was canceled. But let's just talk about World for a second. And what are you going to miss the most right now while everything is closed? What are you going to miss the most?
The ability just to pop over there, because I'm in and out of the parks all the time. If I'm, I need a picture for something, I need to cover something, whatever, or I'm just there. That's where I go in the evenings. I'm off work, but that's my happy place. And so I am in those parks all the time. And just the fact that I cannot go over there right now is tough.
I think for me, it's not, hey, this is going to sound super cheesy, but when you're kind of down or whatever, it's actually meeting all the people who like the show is a weird thing. You don't really know, it happens, it not in an egotistical way or anything, but every time we go to the park, you usually get stopped by at least one person, and I love to sit and chat, and you have that interaction with a brand new person that you never knew. And it's going to be that kind of weird, you're not really going to meet those people, you digital people out there. I won't see you in a 3-dimensional area until this is all done, it's weird.
And someone asked in the chat last night when you guys were doing the live show, someone asked about stopping and meeting us when we're in the parks. And that's just further affirmation. Please stop. Please say hi. It is one of the greatest joys.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I know Rhino loves it. Yes. When he meets people and they touch him a lot, they hug him and they touch
I was just gonna say,
and run their fingers through his hair. That is Rhino's favorite thing. I'm actually thinking of doing a contest where the first person that messes up Rhino's hair gets $1,000 or something.
I'm gonna get slappy. I'll slap people away. Carry a ruler around with me like a nun.
You need a yardstick. You're not 6 feet away.
Yeah, really. Social distancing. Use a yardstick. Julie, what about you?
This time of year is Flower and Garden. It means a lot to me. It's the first festival that we ever took Ferris to, and Finley for that matter, because they're born at that time of the year. So there won't be any of that so far. It's usually one of the things I look forward to more than food and wine.
Yeah. I'm regretting that.
We were supposed to go last weekend, and to go do Mickey and Minnie's Hollywood the Runaway Railway. And I told him, I was like, look, I really do want to go. I said, but at the same time, I don't want to risk, like, even at that point, I told him, I said, I'm not sure I want to risk Ferris being around that many people, just because of this virus. And little did I know that this weekend we would be actually being told to contain and keep a good distance. And so now I'm so glad that we didn't go,
Yeah,
it's tough to make those kind of decisions because we were all excited about it,
Yeah, I regret that I didn't get over to Flower and Garden. That is one of my favorite things, to walk around Epcot. Mom and I usually go and do that because it's a time of year where it's not so hot that you can't be in the parks. You can't be in the parks when it's really hot. So I'm kind of bummed that I didn't do that, but
yeah, Epcot is never prettier.
And I'm also bummed that I didn't, I haven't gotten to do Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Mm-hmm. So I really want to go do that. I love going to eat over at the Wave. It's really one of my favorite places to eat. And I'm bummed that I really can't go do that.
You need to learn to make that bacon and eggs that you like.
Okay, no, that's a tough dish to make.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a tough dish to make.
I know this time of year it might be hard to find fireworks, but I know there are a lot of people out there who definitely are missing the fireworks. Are people putting on their own fireworks shows at home? I'd like to know.
Yeah, I was waiting to see what your suggestion was about to be.
That's actually.
In some places they're illegal, but
to kind of build on Denny's suggestion. Not for nothing, we have years worth of videos that have been produced.
Yeah.
That's and there's Corey butting in.
Hey.
We have so many videos on both the Diz channel and the Diz Unplugged channel. And maybe we should start recycling some of those older ones. But the idea that you had, Denny, about the park benches, that was Corey's baby. Corey came up with that idea, and I think right now they could have a second life while the parks are closed. So I think that's a great idea.
I pictured my mom. She worked for a law firm in New Orleans, and I picture her behind this cubicle desk, just wishing she was at Disney. And one thing she loved to do is just sit on the bench and watch people, or just listen to the sights and sounds. So I didn't have any sort of video talent. So I was like, what can I do in the parks that involve video? Well, what did I come up with? Something to just set the damn camera down and leave it alone.
Yeah.
So call it Disney Park Bench. But it's kind of nice to just kind of be in there. Everybody has a big screen TV. Yep. Put it on there.
Yep. Just if you've not already subscribed to the mailer, please do so. Go to the homepage, hit subscribe, put in your email address, and that way you can get a mailer every single day in your inbox. And I've started putting a park bench each day in from Walt Disney World and Disneyland. So you can kind of see what the featured park bench is of the day, and I connect that way.
I am happy to say that there's actually going to be 3 new park benches coming very soon. So I was able to get a couple in at the last second. They're all at Animal Kingdom because that was the only park I visited, as I talked about last night. So they will be here eventually, probably maybe do like 1 or 2 or 1 a week for the next couple weeks until I run out. But then someone mentioned fireworks a little bit back. That's one of the things that it's been hardest for me is I live close enough that we see the fireworks, not directly from our house, but we'll walk out right around 9 o'clock or whatever time fireworks end up being for Magic Kingdom. And so I watch the fireworks couple times a week. And so on the very last night of fireworks, Kylie and I walked the dogs right when they were happening so we could go and catch our last show. And last night, that's why I was motivated to do the live stream with Pete, was because I was like, well, I don't have fireworks anymore at Disney, so I'll just play a video of them. But yeah, it's going to be weird. Like tonight at 9:00 when I walk out and it's just quiet, it's going to be very eerie.
Yeah, it's going to be weird.
Yeah, well, I got to be honest. I spend a lot of time in the house anyway, just because of work and, I don't like people. So this is not a huge stretch for me. I'm not in the house all the time, but I think part of it is just, feeling like I can't go out. Yeah. Something you can't do, you want to do more. So I miss like you, Denny. I miss just knowing that I could hop in my car and drive to property and go do whatever I felt like doing. And Corey's moving around, and that's the noise you hear.
Sorry. I did a tissue. I didn't want to wipe it on my hand.
Oh, well, okay.
That's a good thing.
Thank you for that description, because yeah.
Go with that.
Yeah.
I would like to hear from you guys what you do. What do you do to bring Disney into your home in between trips? You can email that stuff, podcast@disunplugged.com, and I think we're going to put together a separate show just around that, because I think there's a lot of really creative things that people do that can be, can be really good. And Teresa's sending me a text showing me what somebody posted on this horrible snapshot of me in this this live stream, which thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much for sharing that with me, because I wasn't depressed enough before this. So what else? What else do we want to talk about? We got a few more minutes here. I don't want to close yet. So let's talk about some stuff. Anything?
I'm gonna bring back to the video game thing, because I did want to give a couple recommendations if somebody wants any. And I think, Pete, you would actually like these too. I know you're in that boat with me. You like a specific type of a video game. The Spider-Man game that came out for PlayStation 4, I think, dropped in price, and if you can still get delivery, that one's awesome. Or I think you can just download it. I don't even think you have to get it delivered. But that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I am almost done playing that one, I've finished the story, but I'm going back through to make sure I've covered everything as much as I can, and that game is awesome. But it also, I'll play that, and then in my checklist I'll say watch 2 episodes of Clone Wars, because I've never seen that show on Disney Plus. So I'll have myself a Star Wars themed evening or something like that. So I have some of those recommendations. If you are going to watch Clone Wars, Craig told me, gave me a link to on StarWars.com. They've got a list, because that show takes place out of order chronologically, so you can watch it in order, and that's how I'm doing it. But that's just some things, some recommendations out there. Does anybody read?
Oh, yes.
No.
Yeah, I read.
Yeah.
I believe Corey has a guest.
Oh yeah,
Finley.
Finley.
Say hi, Finley. She lost a tooth yesterday, so
Congratulations! Wow.
She's celebrating her 10th birthday. I guess it'll be from home. I guess we'll do something here.
Yeah, probably. Well, happy birthday, Finley.
Yeah.
She'll be 10. Wow.
Yay!
She's like a little Julie.
Yeah.
I couldn't get Ferris to put clothes on to make an appearance, so we get Finley wearing Dad's shirt.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Talking about books, there's Craig and Michael Bowling have had a couple of guests over the years, authors specifically, on connecting with Walt. And I know I bought Eat Like Walt as a result of that. Marcy Smothers, is that right?
Yeah, that's fantastic. That book is excellent. And it's got some of Walt's original recipes in it. So people would love that. I know that's still available on Amazon. I've gotten the 2 series by Dave Barnes. Just both, I want to say, it's The Wisdom of Walt, and then Beyond the Wisdom of Walt. 2 amazing books. And they've actually got things, just thought starters, questions for you to answer at the end of every chapter about how, reflecting on one element of Walt and how he ran the business or what he did in his personal life, and then how it can apply to you. Just fantastic books out there. And always, of course, the Imagineer guides to the separate parks, just fantastic, and a good way to connect even when you're not in the parks.
Actually, if it's $40, so it's not the cheapest book out there, but it's the Walt Disney's Disneyland Taschen book. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It is incredible. It is just it's not just a picture book. It goes into like the very early days of Disneyland and stuff, but this thing is like, it is a coffee table book plus on the next level. It is just beautiful, and you could literally probably spend a couple weeks just trying to dig through it. It is that hardy. So I would recommend that one. But Michael and I have done, I think, like 4 episodes on books. So not even when we had authors, just like in our question and answers when we're recommending books. So if you go back through some of those episodes, you'll get more than enough recommendations on what to read.
Craig, do you have an update on Michael too? How's he doing?
It briefly last night. I still haven't had a chance to get in touch with Michael since last night, when I finally saw that I got an email from him. But he's back home. He is starting his road to recovery from home with nurses and such, and hopefully in the next couple weeks he'll be a little bit more active. But he is still paying attention to what's happening with all of us and seeing what's going on. So not much longer until he's recovered.
So yeah, we got to keep good thoughts and prayers going out to Michael. No question. So, all right, I think we're gonna wrap this up. So that will do it for this episode. Be paying attention. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, because when we do, I think we'll be doing some more impromptu things, as well as other versions of our show will be going out live. I'm planning to do the DBC show, the DCL show, the dining show, doing those all live on YouTube in the coming weeks. So if you want to be notified when that's happening, you got to be subscribed. And thank you guys for all your support, and we will continue trying to do our best to get through all of this together. So with that will do it for this episode of our show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will definitely be back with you again next week with another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Have a great week, folks, and remember, stay out of the damn lakes.